What's going on, you guys? It's me, Anarchy Ninja. So, I just finished watching the last Mando episode, the finale, and normally when I'm going to talk about a reaction, I'll get off and, or I'll do it the next day when we start streaming, but today's episode made me want to get on and film directly after. It's blazing hot in here. It took forever to find a server because it's like the middle of the night now since I watched it a little late. I didn't watch it as it first dropped. But, I just gotta say, if you're here for a positive review, you just leave now. I don't want to hear it. If you stick around and you still whine, you can have criticism done correctly, but if you're just gonna whine, I don't want to hear it. So this last episode dropped, and parts of it were really cool. Other parts of it, I'm like, bro, what was the writing on this season? Again, I haven't watched anyone else's opinion. I haven't watched any React channels, haven't even really been on Twitter. This is just me. And my first gut feeling is, what the hell was this season? They hardly even set up Thrawn, which again, I'm not opposed to Thrawn not being here. This is not his show. So that's not the biggest thing. But this season as a whole just felt really, very strangely put together. We've talked about it before. I'm going to be a broken record. I think a lot of it stems from I don't think they were planning on bringing Grogu back yet. But it just... some of the stuff we theorized going into it. And again, we've said this before, where you got to be careful coming up with your own theories on what's going to happen, because if they don't happen, you might be sad that it didn't go your way. That's not what I'm sad or disappointed about. Some of the stuff we had theories on made sense due to the editing of the video. Like, there's ships gone, there's ships here, there's not there, there's things going on, right? So for this episode, I don't even know where to begin. I'm gonna be all over the place. I'm warning you now. This is no script, off the cuff. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they go up to get the fleet and bring it back, bring all the Mandos down. And they show the gauntlets, and unless I'm blind, I didn't see any of the Gazanti cruisers. So I don't know where those guys went. Now, if you go back to last episode, they had 5, and then when they jumped to Mandalore, they had 4. There was speculation around that. And then now, I could be wrong, but I don't remember seeing what happened to the Gazantis. So basically, those ships were just not there. I don't know. Maybe I missed them. I hope I just missed them. Please tell me I missed them, because that was very lackluster. And I'm getting a little confused with Star Wars ship combat. Like, a few interceptors just go up there and shoot them. Like, the ship's just dead. Like, no shields, no nothing. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, that felt really weird and strangely pieced together for me. 2, going back on my, me saying how this season is just all over the place, is the one episode when they showed Mando getting, or Gideon escaping. When the New Republic found him, they put this whole big deal that the New Republic found out, and literally that didn't mean anything. That didn't come into play at all. They put this whole thing on the Mandalorians, setting up the Mandalorians, and literally there was nothing of that. The next time you see them, they're happy best friends together. It's like, huh? Like, what was that whole point? I get you wanted to show Gideon survived, but they just find out that as a Mandos, and they're like, we're just gonna go chill now. I don't know how to say it. Overall, this season to me was very disappointing. It had some nice moments. Some of the episodes were alright. I mean, all the episodes were pretty much alright. But I just don't feel like it was pieced together very well this season. I feel like they don't really even have a goal for what this is, because we've even said it coming into this. I'm like, if the whole thing of this season is they're gonna reunite Mandalore, which is awesome. I love Mandalorians, love Mandalore. That's a little lackluster in the grand scheme of things for me anyway. But then if Gideon comes back for the 3rd time, and then that's it. He loses again, and there's Gideon. As awesome as his armor looks. Goddamn, side note, I wish they were updating this game. I'd love to play Gideon in here. Jesus, he was badass. But again, it's Gideon back, and he just loses again. Like okay. Like, I don't know, you guys. I did not enjoy the finale. It had some awesome moments, but overall, I just feel like this season was... I hate to say it, because I know a lot of people are going to get mad, but then again, when have I ever given a fuck what people think? I feel like this season was just a lot of filler to pass the time. Like, I don't even feel like they helped set up Thrawn at all. They did talk about the Shadow Council last episode. That literally didn't come into play here at all. Like, again, I know this is not Thrawn's show. He's going to be dealt with in Ahsoka, but if they're building him up and it just... They didn't have any of that. There was literally nothing. Like, I don't know what to think. I'm just very let down by this season, I guess you could say. It just seemed very lackluster. And for the people who just wanted to see awesome adventures, I don't even feel like the adventures were that awesome. In the previous episode or seasons of Mando, they've had a lot of those side missions or side quests, but I felt like they tied into the overall story better. Like, yeah, they're definitely side quests, and some people would call those episodes filler back then, but compared to this season, I don't feel they did that as well. Like, yeah, you had your side quests, and ultimately some of the stuff did tie into it, but it just didn't feel put together right. I don't know what you wanna call this season, if it's rushed or they rewrit it, whatever. Had some rewrites in there. I genuinely don't know. And honestly, I don't know how people are going to take this. Because again, I have not talked to anyone, looked at anything. This is just my opinions off the cuff. I don't give a fuck. Everyone could love it. If I hate it, fuck it, I hate it. I don't care. And I wouldn't say hate it. I think this season could have been way better. But like the mythosaur, like he literally just fucking woke up, like he didn't do shit. Like, wake the fuck up, you lazy bitch. Sorry, we're getting a little, pardon my French, as they say. But I guess the interesting thing is that we kind of hypothesized that Grogu way down the line will probably be ruler of Mandalore, and he woke up when they did the Grogu stuff. So I think that's what's gonna happen, but still, I don't really care about that. Like, right now, that's so far away. Like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm just not that big of a fan of Mandalorian. I feel like this season is a huge step back from the last two, which is disappointing because I don't think it needed to take that big of a step back. And I know if you go on Twitter, you're going to have those super positive people out there saying this is amazing, but I feel like the writing for this season was just, it was such a drop-off compared to the first two seasons. They did such a better job building up stuff and having it tie in than they did here. I don't know if this all stems from the Grogu situation, bringing him back in Book of Boba, where they build up to this huge finale on the end of the last season, and him going with Luke, and then they just rush him back. Personally, I feel like a lot of that stems from this. That's why a lot of the writing just doesn't feel put together, because I don't feel like that was ultimately their plan. I feel they had different ideas going into this season for how it was going to be shot. I don't think Grogu was supposed to be with Mando. And I guess we'll talk about the ending, them settling down on a farm. You know, that's nice. Seeing Daddy and Grogu, but so is that the end of Mando? To me, that's the last Mando season. At least if it's gonna be Din the focus. Not that this season was really Din focus. It was more Bo-Katan, which I don't really have a problem with. But it just I'm a little confused. Mando said he was gonna be working for the New Republic, case by case basis. So he probably will tie in with Ahsoka and stuff like that. We'll probably be seeing him, which, hey, cool. He won't be the main character, but he'll be a side piece to that, which I love. I don't want to not see Din anymore. But just overall, if you've watched my channel for a long time, you know the shit I'm into, and I don't feel like they really hit on any of that. So maybe it's just me personally hitting it. Maybe everybody loves it. I have no idea. But it's Star Wars. No one ever loves anything. So I don't know, man. To me, this season was just a big letdown for me personally. I didn't like the way it was structured. I didn't like a lot of the pacing. Like, they didn't even show Gideon or hint at him until like episode 6. So there's only 8 episodes. This episode was short. I'm like, I feel like they could have done a much better job. At the end of the day, I just feel like this is just a filler season. Like, they were just like, let's get something out for Disney Plus. We're going to have him. But when we've had to wait so many years to get the next episode or the next season of Mando, and this is it, I feel like it's a huge step back. With that much time in between, they should have done it better. They had plenty of time to write it, which, again, I still think the Grogu coming back was a last-minute decision, and they had to quickly rewrite. I'm willing to bet money on that. I don't feel like this is what they envisioned for Grogu and Mando this season. I don't think if they went into it, I don't think they would have had Grogu and Mando settling down on a farm. Not yet, anyway. Maybe that would happen later, but I feel like this season was just rushed. It just, to me, it does disappoint me, honestly, because coming off the sequels, which you all know I don't like very much, and Mando was the thing that started turning Star Wars around. It's like, okay, Disney can do some good shit. You all know I love Rogue One, but in terms of after the sequels, it was Mando that came in clutch, and it was just such a, as people love to say, breath of fresh air. And I feel like they just, for me anyway, they threw all that shit away with this season. I didn't think it was very good, so What else? What was cool? There was some good stuff about it, but I liked Bo-Katan when she went in with the Darksaber. Badass scene. Spies. It turns out none of them were spies, at least as of now. It was probably just them talking about that one girl on Coruscant. Forgot her name. That one girl y'all know. I guess that was it. That was what you titled it. It was just to throw us off, but... if this really is the end of the Mandalorian story, in particular Din's story, I feel like they could have done a much better job with it. For two characters who we grew to love in the first 2 seasons and were literally carrying Star Wars, I feel like it could have been better. And I know this is Disney. I know. Like, come on now. They're not going to do much, but did any good guys even die that episode? Like, who died? Who died? Let me think. Any big characters even. Maybe some background Mandos died. Some cannon fodder. Bo's fine. Mando's fine. Grogu obviously is fine. Grogu ain't going anywhere. Axel's fine. The wrestler one's fine. The armorer's fine. Who else am I forgetting? Those other random Mandos they threw in who were the pirates last episode. The pirate ship. They're alright. Like, I don't know, man. If this is going to be the future of Star Wars, I'm not looking forward to it too much. Let's put it that way. And for me, Ahsoka's going to have to come out and be absolutely amazing. Because right now, you know, people will probably just call me negative. But again, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is, honestly. You want to come here and listen to my opinion? Go ahead. You want to not like it? That's fine. Let's just be civil about it. But if you're just going to go, I love it, and that's it, don't talk to them. Just, if you're going to say, I disagree, and for so-and-so and so, and give the reason, that's fine. I love that type of conversation. I don't mind being, people disagreeing with me. But if you're just going to call me a hater, going to say I'm racist, going to do any of that, stay the fuck out of here. Your dumbass should not even be on the internet, because you're too stupid. So, even for the internet, not saying something. So, just, if it's going to be constructive talking, fine, we can do that. You don't have to agree with my opinion, you don't care. But, Jesus Christ, I feel like this season could just be so many times better, especially with the time in between we had to wait. And I get we had Book of Boba season 2.5 bringing them back, so it's not like we really waited that long. Most of that shit wasn't actually fucking Mando anyway. It really wasn't Book of Boba, but coming off Kenobi, which I thought was not very good overall, Book of Boba, which was way beneath that, and then this season, that's 3 recent shows now where I'm just like, man, this is really not that good. They had some good moments, but overall, I feel like they could be doing better. And I don't know if that's because in Star Wars mind, they're like rushing stuff out, so they, like, well, you want more content, but the writing's gonna go down. I don't feel like they have to do that. Star Wars has the money and the manpower to have enough of this stuff written, have it make sense, have some better writing. I don't know. I'm actually really let down by this. I'm like, man, Mando, you were the thing that was carrying this. And I don't mean Mando as Din Djarin. I just mean the show in general. They were the show. I was like, hey, man, Book of Boba wasn't good, but we got Mando, you know? Like, Mando was so good, even when he showed up in Book of Boba, which made no fucking goddamn sense, especially the Luke and Grogu stuff. That should have been in this season. Luke and Grogu stuff should have been in this season of Mando, not in Book of Boba. Mando showing up in Boba makes sense, but him with Grogu and all that doesn't. Let me clarify that. But, like, even there, he stole the show in a good way for him. Sucks for Boba, but, like, everybody loved him. And then you come into this season, and it's just, I don't feel like they had an ultimate goal. Like, this season just felt, I don't know how to put it, man. I'm not doing a good job with this shit. Like, it's just, I felt like 6 of the episodes were just kind of wasted, and then they built up to the last 2, but they didn't even build up properly. Then they didn't even have an end credit scene, which is just, like, you don't even set up the next show? Like, fuck, man. The end credit scene for Book of Boba was better than the show itself. I was like, at least set up something for Ahsoka. Give us a Shadow Council scene, something with Thrawn. I literally sat through all the goddamn credits waiting. Even when Disney Plus closes it out, like, nope, nothing to see here, I still reopen it like, no, we are going to watch at the very last second. And even then, I still waited, hoping, like, maybe they're just fucking with the timer. There was nothing. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm kind of curious how people are gonna react to this. Because I know some people, they're just super positive and they already love this season and that's it. Clearly, I don't agree with them. I know there's going to be some people who are just going to hate it because they just want to hate it. I personally do not want to hate Star Wars. I love Star Wars, grew up with that shit since I was a kid. Like, but if this is going to be the highest quality show they can fucking produce from here on out, I gotta be honest. I'll check it out, but I'm literally not going to go into it wanting anything. Like, it's just like, whatever, dude. Just show me a fucking lightsaber once in a while so I could be excited. Like, and again, I know this isn't the same type of show, but you go from a show like House of the Dragon, which it's coming off of Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones was great, the ending was but House of the Dragon came through and the writing was there. All the episodes tied in, everything made sense. It was so fun to watch, even when it was just dialogue and side quest, if you will. Which is there really side quest there? I don't know. But it just... this shit isn't even close to being on that level, honestly. Like, it is just bad. And that's what makes me sad. I feel like Star Wars could be that good. I feel like they could get it on that level if they wanted to. I'm not saying they're going to have fucking titties flying everywhere and fucking dude sucking off another dude here, which they'll probably do that at some point. Don't get me into that. But it's just like, I don't know. I really don't know how to put all my thoughts into words at this point, but overall, man, that shit was disappointing, to say the least. But anyway, let me know what you guys are thinking on it. I don't know if we'll continue. We're just ranting, but like I said, I literally never get off and film a video after. I wait till the next day, watch some react channels maybe, because, you know, I always watch react channels and we go from there. But this one, part of me, because since I disliked it so much, I wanted to make sure I don't get my opinions skewed by someone else. And hey, maybe my opinions will ultimately end up wrong or be the minority. Don't care. So we'll just have to see what happens with it. But like, I never even pay attention to the titles. But like, this episode was titled "The Return." Who the fuck returned, bro? To return to Mandalorian? You already been on Mandalorian. Like, that's kind of a lackluster return. The Mythosaur didn't do shit. You turned on the Great Forge, which is cool. That whole scene was pretty cool with them like baptizing Yoda basically, and Grogu and that other little fucking annoying ass kid. But you know, Vizsla kid. But I don't know. Some of the scenes were pretty badass. What was it? I think when Din, was it Din or Bo? I think it was Din. But he had an uppercut stab with his dagger, which I really liked. And I do like that side. No, I'll give him credit on that. Oh, hello. Oh, don't tell me the internet went out. Did the internet go out? Are you fucking kidding me? Well, technically, I can still keep recording even if the internet goes out because Elgato isn't on that. So I'll finish that thought because I think my internet did just go out. So we're going to end the video here, but I'll wrap up on it. But I did like, since they have Beskar and all this good armor, some of the scenes, it doesn't make sense with the shot, but that's fine. But what they did do good with it, which I really appreciated, was they were using daggers, which was very, for armored warfare and night warfare, was very good. You get in close, you get a dagger because you can get it in between the slots in the armor. So from that standpoint, I did like that part. They did a good job with that. But anyway, since my internet's out and we can't keep playing, maybe I'll just sit here on the menus and keep talking. I don't know, but let me see real quick. Is there anything I'm forgetting? I know there is, but we talked about the New Republic not tying in any way, despite them setting up the Mandos and literally didn't do shit on that, which again screams to me rushed writing. They had a plan for that. They had to change it because they had to rush some different writing in. They weren't planning, and they just kind of pieced together what they already had, which to me didn't fit at all in terms of writing. What else? What am I forgetting? The Red Guards, or the Praetorian Guard scene was pretty cool. I like that scene. Gideon, I guess I'll talk about it briefly, but I'm sure he's dead because this is his third time. Don't bring him back again, Star Wars, for the love of God. But him just going out and fire randomly, I was like, really? Axel took his ass out? Like, he didn't even fucking mean to. But, you know, hey, and then you got your fucking, what's that little fucking tree from Marvel? What's that little fucker's name? Guardians of the Galaxy, the little tree made a boa to protect everyone. Oh, Grogu did the same shit. They were like, we're going to copy Marvel and set up a big character. But instead of setting up someone like Thanos, they just kind of threw this season together randomly. So even then, I think Marvel, at least back then, shit all over them in terms of copying them. I don't feel like they're doing a good job. What else am I forgetting here? Bear with me here. Bear with me here. At least, hey, the internet's coming back on. Maybe I'll get in a game. Side note, this is what my internet does. It just goes off randomly, and then it will come back on. Very fucking annoying. I know I'm forgetting shit, but I should really write shit down before I do this. I really should, but I never learn. I've only been on YouTube for 12 years or something like that. Still make rookie mistakes, but it's fine. That's what you come to expect from my channel. Side note, I guess we kind of talked about this. Why the fuck you launch TIE bombers, dude? If a fucking couple interceptors can take out an Arcutessence or whatever the fuck you call that ship, the Gazantes, which I could be wrong, but I think they just disappeared. The fighters didn't do shit, so I'm like, okay, like the Mandalorian fleet's down to a few Gazantes, but to me that's part of the bad writing of this season or bad directing. Like they show 5, then on the next shot there's 4, and then again I could be wrong, but I don't remember seeing any of them this time. They didn't show them jump out of hyperspace, get out of here, save the ships. Like leave one guy on the ship and just get out of there. The other Mandos can jump off to go fight. They didn't save the ship at all. But when they left decoys, I don't remember seeing, and I could have just missed them. You know, things happen fast, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. I might have just missed them, which I'm hoping I did. Maybe they got taken out in the attack, but I don't remember seeing them. They're just kind of like, well, we showed them all the time, and then they're gone. That's what I'm operating off of, because I don't recall seeing them. But again, I hope I'm wrong, because again, to me, that's lazy writing. It's like, you have a fleet. You showed the gauntlets go down. You showed the fucking Arcutessence or whatever you call the fucking cruiser get shit on. I'm like, well, what about the Gazantes? What happened to them? Like, I was building up, and again, part of this is because I got my expectations up. I was getting excited for some space combat or, you know, some type of fighter scene. Yeah, it wasn't good. Like, it really wasn't fucking good. Hey, the internet's back. I'll search for a game while I rant in case we can find something else to go on our 5-minute rant about. What else? Grogu's a Mandalorian. Well, we already knew that was going to happen, so that's a nice scene, but not really surprising. Hardly anybody died. We already talked about that. I don't know. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but I know the moment I end it, I'll think of something. So anyway, I'm just going to end it here. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know. I could be in the minority here. I could be in the majority. I have no idea. But for me, final thoughts this season was pretty fucking lackluster, especially for the time we had to wait for it. Feel like it would have been better if they had just had Grogu in this season with Luke and help put some of those slower episodes. They could then cut to Grogu with Luke, which would have helped that, and they could have focused a little more on the Luke-Grogu relationship, build a few more scenes with that. I think that would have been a way better idea to go alongside the Mando and Bo's story. Yeah, anyway, what a step back from the last 2 seasons. Jesus Christ. God, I hope Ahsoka's good.